guys, it's your girl Antonia. We out here on Amped Up Live, and to my right, we have our beautiful guest, Ashanti, another lovely co-host we have here in the building. And on my left here, we have the Deputy Mayor of Cocoa, Lavander Hearn.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up? Wow, so I see he came to show us really what Cocoa is about. He saw a previous episode that we've aired, and, we were talking about Cocoa and just, just what's going on there. And, we just want to get more in depth with what's going on with the man himself.
Yeah.
For real.
So you are the youngest elected councilman.
Official,
Wow.
For the city of Cocoa.
What year was this?
I got elected in 2020.
Wow. So what made you want to get into this?
It's a funny story. I always tell people, they laugh. It started with me trying to get some speed humps on my street. We had some speeders coming by, and there's a lot of kids living on the streets. And trying to go through the process, I kept getting the runarounds, and I was like, why don't I just take a different approach? Why don't I get more involved into local government?
Preach.
And,
right.
That's when I decided to run for city council.
I like that. Wow. So do you feel there was an issue with the city hearing you being a black man, or just in general?
I think what it was is it was the old way of how city councils or city councilwomen, councilmen operated in the city of Cocoa. They weren't really visible. They weren't people that you could actually reach out to. And I kind of wanted to, bring something different to it. I wanted to have a elected official that represented the neighborhood that you could actually reach out to, easy to, get a hold to, and any concerns you had, I wanted to be visible. So that's what I ran for. That's what I've been standing for now, going on close to 4 years now.
Wow.
That's what's up.
So where do you see yourself after you get, more acclimated with your position? Do you see yourself going the next step?
Apparently, apparently people tell me, I'm doing a really good job. I became popular over the years. And, people want me to keep going up for higher positions.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm just focused on the city of Cocoa. So we could run a max of 2 terms, which are 4 years. So that's a total of 8 years.
Right.
So I want to run one more term. And I really haven't looked further as to where I want to go. But I'm just focused on Cocoa right now.
This might be the future of the mayor, the future of Cocoa, the mayor.
So,
wow, I'm here for it. I really am. I'm blessed to have you here for sure.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a lot of opportunities, that I could take advantage of. Like I say, I've become popular over the years at my position, doing a good job. At least that's what the citizens tell me. And it does have its downfalls. It came with a lot of hate.
Yeah.
From people that see me as a threat, that you can kind of say it was a good old boy system in politics as a whole on a local level.
Yes.
And, when they see a threat emerging, you get a lot of darts thrown at you.
So what is it is it because you care too much, or you care for the people? Is that a threat to them?
I think it's the fact that just being genuine and open, actually educating. I think that's probably my biggest job, educating people on how local government works. So
Nice.
myself included, I didn't really know how government worked, and
Right.
All the different steps and avenues to how to get things done. And not only myself, but we got another councilman, Alex Goin, our mayor Blake. We've been really open to the process and been trying to educate people. Hey, this is what you need to do when you have a concern in the community. You need to come before council. Some people might wonder why money getting allocated over here and not over there.
Right.
It's all about, are you coming to those meetings and voicing, making yourself heard on what need to be done. Normally, if you, for instance, you may have an issue where someone wants to cut a tree down.
Right.
And you may have it's one person want this tree cut down. It's in their yard.
Yeah.
But if you have 50 people come out in a meeting hey, we want to save that tree. We don't want them to cut it down. You kind of you can't go against, the majority citizens, whatever they want,
Right.
So
Totally.
So I've been, just trying to be educating the public on, hey, you need to come out to the meetings. You see something, let us know. Not only that, we go out into the community. Something before the person that sat in my seat, I didn't even know the person exists.
Really?
Never seen them anywhere.
Wow.
So I'm literally all over the place. Not only myself, my fellow councilman Alex Goins, and like I said, Mayor Blake. We're literally everywhere.
I love
You know,
that.
from coaching youth football,
Wow.
youth
That's
sports in
beautiful.
general. I'm a local firefighter as well,
What?
so that's what I
That's what's up.
That's awesome. My dad's a retired New York City firefighter.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you know how it is.
Yeah, for sure. So what programs do you offer?
So for the city of Cocoa, we actually, if you look at all the cities in Brevard County, we probably allocate the most to youth programs and youth crime prevention. So we have the Cocoa PAL, which most people, they think of PAL, they only think of basketball.
Yeah.
But our PAL program actually it reaches out to all youth, like those that may not be inclined to sports. So
Right.
they do stuff like early career training. Just
That's
we bring them
awesome.
into the city council, show them how it works,
Oh, wow.
how your local government work. We expose them to different career avenues. We just anything to do with youth crime prevention. We literally we go in the pocketbook for it, and we
That's
really
what's
dish out. And you compare that to almost any other city in Brevard County. I think we're number one at doing that. So
Wow.
we offer programs for our minority. If you're a minority, a woman or a person of a certain ethnicity, and it's a minority, we do business grants, $10,000 business grants
That's
what's
awesome.
up.
Is that just for Cocoa? You have to be a
for
resident
Cocoa.
of Cocoa. Sweet.
So we started with one grant,
Yeah.
and it was confined to within one area of Cocoa.
Right.
But once we seen that was a success, we expanded the program. So now I think we got 6 grants going out.
That's awesome.
And it's going to be like an
That's
annual
awesome.
thing.
That's awesome.
So we're trying to grow small business in the city, but we
Yeah.
also want to reach back to the minorities and make
For
sure they're
sure.
getting a leg up as well. So
Nice,
That's
nice.
beautiful.
I like that. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Cocoa has the most homeless people living in that city, correct?
that's up for debate.
Who would you say is competing with
I mean, we definitely. I think it looks that way because Cocoa has the most nonprofit organizations that help homeless people.
Okay. And I only asked that because I have a nonprofit. I was there feeding the homeless. I've been doing that for years,
Yeah.
you know.
We definitely have a lot, but the homeless population is everywhere. You know,
But the most, I feel like they're out there in Cocoa.
It could
like
be.
they're outside
It
more.
could be.
Now, what do you guys not offer anything for that? Like,
We actually we offer a lot. We support all the nonprofits in the city. Like Matthews Hope, that's a new organization we just brought from Winter Park. They have a program where they actually bring the homeless in. They get them set up with their medical situations,
Right.
any disability,
Right.
food stamps. They actually offer showers. They have food voucher programs where they're not just giving out stuff, handing stuff out, saying come in and take.
For sure.
They're actually holding people accountable, like, hey, we're going to get you started. We're going to put you on a program.
nice.
So it's actually making the people do the work to
I like
become
that.
independent.
It's like
Right.
the transitioning.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So it's not just like we're opening up a pantry, just come grab whatever.
Right.
And,
You're
then
teaching a fish. You're teaching them how to fish instead of
correct,
catching. You know,
correct. 'Cause
yeah.
some of these people have to be, taught again how to be independent.
For sure.
And we also have Family Promise, which are one of our old fire stations. We actually donated it to Family Promise. We remodeled the building, and that's going to be like a hub of services. So
I like that.
it's like a hub of nonprofits come in there. They actually do by the day they bring homeless families in, mothers and their children.
That's awesome.
They do job training for the moms.
That's
That's
awesome.
They help find them housing and
That's
everything.
needed.
So
That's needed.
that's just one of many.
So where can we find that type of service?
That Family Promise is located in Cocoa near the downtown area.
Okay.
As well, Matthews Hope is right down the street.
So downtown is also known as Cocoa Village.
Cocoa Village.
Okay,
Correct.
okay, sweet.
Correct.
Now I've heard that Cocoa has been getting gentrified. How
That's
is
a misconception there.
okay? Let's talk about
you
that.
kind of got to go through the history of Cocoa. So
Okay.
it may seem that way, but Cocoa was never a predominantly black city.
It was never.
Never.
Okay.
So the what you want to call the black area of Cocoa was literally just a small neighborhood, which is now a part of our consent decree, and it's a protected area. So we protect the homes and the families that own property in that area. But it was a small location, And most of Cocoa, the city of Cocoa, was actually blacks weren't allowed to live there.
Why?
It was literally written in some of the deeds that you couldn't rent or sell houses to African Americans.
Get out.
So there's most of Cocoa now where you see black people, Hispanics living now.
Right.
When those homes were first built, blacks couldn't live there, and that wasn't that long ago.
Whoa.
You know, so now what you see is it's a mix of Hispanics, African Americans, whites all over Cocoa.
Right.
So it's actually the opposite. And then Cocoa, the growth that you do see is a lot of this the unincorporated Cocoa that's being annexed into the city.
Okay.
So any new buildings you see, new apartments that actually wasn't in the city of Cocoa, it became a part of Cocoa because they wanted to annex into it.
Okay.
And I think I heard something too about the Cocoa Village area where that's being gentrified. That it goes back to the same thing I was saying. If you talk to any family member that's been around Cocoa for many years, they'll tell you many African Americans weren't welcome down there. And now it's more of a welcoming place.
Right. So were you born there in Cocoa?
I was born in Georgia, but I grew up here all my life.
When did you get here?
Oh, probably age 2.
Wow.
So I'm a lifetime. Yeah, I'm lifetime Cocoa.
Before you could speak.
Yep,
Wow. Yeah. So how did your family find Cocoa?
His father was actually in the Air Force at Patrick Air Force Base.
Nice. That makes sense. Totally.
So that's how they ended up here. I think a lot of families ended up here that way.
Yeah.
That's how they got here. I've been here all my life, so I seen the ups and downs of Cocoa. I seen the growth.
For sure.
And yeah.
Wow.
So I think something else I heard on the
address it. We are here.
He's
like, and also
I want to get it all out.
No, that's smart because how will we know?
Yeah, so
I would have never known.
I'm so passionate about Cocoa.
I love
that's my city,
I love that.
I've been through a lot with that city. I've been through it all through the periods when it was gun violence. There,
wow.
I was a victim of gun violence.
Really? Can you tell us the story a little bit about that?
So, maybe like not even a week after I graduated high school, I was caught up in a drive-by shooting.
Did you get hit?
Oh yeah.
Where?
Oh yeah, I got hit in my side.
Wow.
I still got a bullet.
The bullet still in you?
Still in me, sitting right in front, right just above my spinal cord. So.
Oh, so that's you could have been paralyzed.
I could have been paralyzed.
So it doesn't slowly come out, like eventually.
No, this one ain't.
It's not moving.
They cut me open to try to take the bullet out, but they decided that it would probably be
too risky.
Too risky.
You walked perfectly fine. I would have never known that.
Oh, yeah. So I was out playing semi-pro football maybe about a month later.
So you feel like you were
Staples in and all. I'm still playing football. So
do you feel like they were targeting you, or was it just a drive-by?
I don't think they were targeting me. I think it was a mistaken identity.
Wow. I'm glad you're here with us.
It was a rough time. If you go back all the way from the 90s, it was a period of Cocoa. It was rough. And that's why we still carry that bad stigma that Cocoa is so dangerous. But
was it drugs? It was drug violence as well mixed in?
Oh, yeah, drugs.
Okay.
It was drugs, you name it.
Wow.
Even police brutality.
But isn't Cocoa like the first city or something like that?
Rockledge is.
Okay.
Rockledge, yeah.
Right next door, yeah.
So,
wow.
So it's been around for a while.
Right.
But I've been through periods when Cocoa the crime rate was, and it was up there.
Wow.
But now, some of the things I've been working on as a city council and deputy mayor, like I say, that's why we invest so much into our youth programs in the city, early crime prevention. It's hard to deter a grown person from the life they live, but with these youth, if you can impact them. On my off days from the fire department, something I was doing, I was a substitute teacher.
Wow.
Not for the money, just because I wanted the kids to see a figure like me, someone that came from a rough patch and was able to make it out of that and someone rise above that.
To relate. We need that. We need, figures to relate.
Right.
Now, I know in Palm Bay there was a lot of youth, crimes going on, killings.
It's been shifting.
So how is that in Cocoa? Is there a lot of
Oh yeah,
young
it was a
crime
lot.
finds?
It was
Now, though, currently in the past couple of
no.
years,
So
because
I
I don't
like to
hear
think
that as
I like to
often.
think what we've been implementing, which I really think is a big factor. With some of the things we've been doing, even working with our police chief, we go out in the neighborhood, we knock doors, we talk to the people, the kids.
Wow.
We're not, we want to make sure they know that we're partners with them. We're here just to make sure everybody's safe, and I think building those relationships, I think it's been working. We haven't had a murder in Cocoa in 2 years. So
Dang.
That's good.
our crime rate going on a second year is going down. So we've had
That's beautiful.
so yep. So our crime rate has been going down. No murders.
Wow.
And previous to me being elected, you might have heard of a murder. That was a common thing, or a shooting.
Mm-hmm.
So you're the Coco Superman.
I would like to be.
This is Superman.
If it's saving lives, hey, and if it's working, hey, call me Superman. I'll take that title. But
that's an idol. That's a figure.
It's really been a community, a village thing.
I believe it.
It's been.
It doesn't take one. It takes a
Yeah,
village.
it's been people from all over.
But it does
Pastor
take a leader
Jarvis
too.
Wash. I don't know if you heard of him. He's
Who
been
is
doing
it?
good. Pastor Jarvis Wash.
No.
Mm-hmm.
So he does his during the summertime. He does his Friday night basketball where
Okay.
the kids come play pickup ball. They win prizes, money. They get
That's
fed.
awesome.
That's what's up.
Keeping the kids out the streets.
That's the main goal. Out the
It's-
street, not being bored. Because boredom will find you
Oh,
trouble.
Yep.
For sure.
And you got the Cocoa Youth Football League. They've been doing a good job, grabbing the youth out the community, keeping them on the field and not the streets. It's really been a collective effort.
Wow.
And like I say, it's working. Our crime, I'm not saying we don't have crime,
Right.
but our crime has been going down.
That's good.
That's what we need. We
And
need
like
a
I said,
change.
No murders. That's major.
That is
So,
huge.
Especially at a time when I don't think it's any other city in Brevard County that can say they haven't had a murder in 2 years.
Knock on wood.
So
Yeah,
knock on
for
wood,
real.
Yeah.
Something, But yeah, wow. I love that. I love how passionate you are. We need this.
Oh,
we
yeah.
need this,
Definitely.
in the world.
One of the things, people were asking about Cocoa. They used to say, oh, Cocoa's dead. We don't have anything here. And I really didn't understand that either prior to becoming an elected official. But I learned that business is how they come into cities. They look at your crime rates. They look at the poverty rates.
Right.
It's a whole, it's so much they look into before a business say, hey, I'm going to come set up shop there.
Right.
So we've been trying to, hit all those pointers. We've been trying to bring the people out of poverty by, providing all these economic incentives and actually bring our crime rate down. So you probably heard about the Bright Line train.
Yes.
We're like number one in the league right now on
Oh,
getting a station.
that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's gonna
I
be
don't
a
care. I'll
huge-
drive to Go-Go.
Oh, yeah.
I'll definitely
Oh,
go
yeah.
there
So-
for that train. Because it'll go from like Miami to
Oh, yeah.
Tampa, right?
I actually rode on the train. They
Really?
took us down there, and it's a game changer. If we get that station here, which we're pretty sure it's coming.
For sure.
Brightline, they already spent millions of dollars on a property in Cocoa.
What?
You don't spend money for no reason.
Exactly. They know. We know.
So
That's awesome.
just like everywhere else, especially Palm Bay. Shout out to my buddy Kenny Johnson.
Yeah.
He's a councilman down there.
Yes. He's been on here too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
good guy. But you see the growth that Palm Bay's getting.
It's,
Coco's seeing it all as well.
Yeah.
So Brevard County's hot right now.
It is.
Mhm.
It is. I'm definitely I want to get more involved with the community within the county.
There's a lot of
networking,
opportunities. So
for
when people,
sure.
I hear people say, "I'm leaving Brevard County. It ain't no opportunity." It's here.
It's here. They not looking.
If you can't see it, you're gonna see soon.
Yeah.
So.
There'll be a customer. That's how I see it. Yeah.
So
Wow. So what keeps you going?
I think the fact that I got kids that I'm raising in the city of Cocoa,
Yeah.
that's what keep me going. It's not easy. People ask me all the time how you make it look easy, and it ain't. Especially when you some of the stuff you have to deal with. Like I see it all from the racist people that come out, and I get slandered all the time. You can just Google search me. I get people making up lies. I done been sued before.
Dang.
I've been stalked.
Whoa.
It's not easy.
Dang.
And I get harassed. The Facebook stuff, that's a whole nother level.
I can only imagine.
Haters gonna hate.
So you got to have tough skin. But like I said, what keep me going is the fact that I know my kids are gonna grow up in the city. So
Yes.
I want to do everything I can to make sure it's a good place to grow up.
Preach.
So
Okay, I got questions. So you got the men and the boys, right? Well, the young youth. Are you going to be able to try to help the young girls pretty much? Like, that's the biggest thing as well.
actually, like I said, I do mentor in the neighborhood, in the community, and most times when people come up to me and ask, "Hey, can you talk to my kids?" Most of the time it's young men, and I was saying to myself, the young ladies actually get left out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the young men need mentors and good figures to look up to, the
Right.
women need it as well.
Absolutely.
Correct.
If not, we'll have social media raising our young women. So
Yeah, we don't need that.
Not
We
at
got
all.
enough of that.
that's something actually I definitely need to keep an eye on. Anybody that has any services looking to mentor young women, I would love to support it any way I can, especially putting a city stamp behind it and backing it. And yeah.
We have a program we're in called Amped Up Queens, but I don't know how that works with, being in Melbourne. If
Hey,
we could.
come on over.
Okay.
Okay.
Come to Coco. We would love
Yeah,
support
we
it.
want to, uplift the queens, the princesses.
Yes.
Queens,
Yes,
let them
yes.
know, like, you're special, you mean to us. We want to, get you there. You're not
You
forgotten.
have value, a lot of
For
value.
sure, for
A lot of
sure.
women do not, and young girls don't understand how much value you have, especially for a woman.
Yes.
Even kings and princesses too. But women and young girls always do things about towards their feelings, and sometimes they don't really think, they just act on their feelings. And I understand that because of course we was all young.
Yeah.
So for me, I went through a issue with always, how you could say, I would say using more of my emotions, and I didn't really think the consequences. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm still growing to this day, but I realized that I didn't look at myself as beauty. I always looked at myself ugly. Even though people's like, "Oh, you gorgeous," not you can even ask her sometime and be
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, I'm alright." You know what I'm saying? I'm still trying to grow on that, but at the same time, we really do need more woman figures to show these young girls, because they're gonna be the ones we're gonna be 90 and they're gonna be like 30 or 40 years old. We have to show them the right way.
Yeah, they're our future. They're our leaders for
Oh yeah.
what's to come next.
Well, just based off my observation, just like with the young men, so a lot of the issues that we see in our community today is all on our youth not knowing how to express different emotions,
Right.
undealt with trauma.
Yes.
Trauma, definitely trauma.
Definitely.
So you got to think a lot of these kids come from broken homes where they may not have that figure to show them how to express their different emotions and how to deal with adversity. So it's important that we have people and programs in place that could, pick up slack where these kids don't have that at home. So,
Right.
So that was something my problem as an early teen. I didn't really have someone there to tell me what was right or wrong. I had to kind of figure it out on my own.
Right.
Luckily, I was a person that, I could make a mistake and learn from it, or see somebody else's mistake and say that ain't the route I want to go.
Right.
But not everybody can do that. Not everybody's fortunate to do that. And, that's where I like to step in and just show kids that it's possible, just because you see somebody doing this or that, you don't have to follow that, that route. So, like I said, that's a big issue there in our community.
Absolutely. Absolutely. How do you feel about the judges in Brevard County? Is that a weird question?
The judges?
Yeah. Is that a weird question?
I'm sorry.
He's like, the judges.
The judges?
Be careful.
It's a funny system here in Brevard County.
Of course it's going to be.
And I'm pretty sure we're not exclusive to this issue, but something I observe is it's all about who you know.
For sure.
In this county.
I feel like we need more of us in judge positions, judge roles. We need to be in that.
That's funny you mentioned that. My daughter, that's something that she's aspiring to. She really wants to be a judge. She's
future.
only 11 years old, but she's been talking about it for years. She wants to be a judge.
We need her.
Bless her.
Please come through.
I'm sending
Please.
blessings
really
to
do.
her right now.
We really do, and it's other positions as well. But not to not to stray away from your comment with judges.
But police too, law enforcement, right?
It's all.
We need more.
If you really dive into things, if you ever been caught up in a situation and really looked into it, investigated, you would be shocked on the connections that people have.
Yes.
Judges,
attorneys. Oof.
And if anybody's going through something, especially in the judicial system, I would say really investigate who you're dealing with, who your judge is, who your attorney is.
Yes.
If you're caught up with public defenders, like, learn how the system works. Many of these people go eat lunch together.
Literally.
They go to barbecues together. So
literally, it's politics.
Yes, it's like a whole different world, like behind the scenes.
Literally.
And when you know how that work, you'll know how to navigate.
Yes.
And it'll make you want to stay out of the court system.
Literally.
If you know how it works, because you really gambling your life away when you give you that much power of your freedom to a judge or attorney.
It's a gang. I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna put it out there. It's a gang.
Definitely.
Yes, it is.
If you're not on their team, stay out of their way, because they're gonna run over you. Literally.
Definitely.
So it's
and the decisions they make, the power they have in their hand over your future is so detrimental.
Yes. And a lot of those positions, there's no accountability on. Of course, you have to be, as a citizen, you're being held to the highest amount of accountability, but on that side, a lot of times there's no oversight or accountability ever found. So
I believe it.
It's definitely a playground that you don't want to be in. So I advise people, just stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
It's easy to get into, hard to get out.
For sure.
Especially that some people that I know that went through that, they're lucky. They know they were lucky, and they never did that situation again because they already knew God helped you.
So
for real.
Something I talk about with youth all the time. My upbringing. I got caught up in the court system as a youth. I talk about this all the time, and this was called the juvenile
detention
system, straight to the prison pipeline. That's what they called it. And I was caught up in a situation to I was 9 years old, and I was sent to juvenile detention center.
No,
that's crazy.
For being outside with a BB gun.
What?
Outside my apartment complex.
What?
And I was this little kid, and I showed up in juvenile detention center, and these older kids, they looking at me like, "What are you doing in here?" I couldn't tell them, I didn't understand, and looking back now, it's something that my mom could have probably had thrown out, but she didn't know how to, how the system worked.
That's trauma for both you and your mother.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Definitely. So.
Not many people. Not many people can come back from that and be like, I'm gonna be on the right path, do what's right. Some people are just like,
at 9 years old, it kind of made me feel like, okay, I'm big and bad. Like there's nothing, I went through this, so now it almost became like a normal thing.
Like you're invincible.
I ended up getting in trouble again at like 13 years old, and that time they actually sent me away to a juvenile program.
Okay.
And I was going for about a year.
No.
So.
Do your kids know this?
Oh yeah, I tell them about it all the time. Especially my oldest daughter. She old enough to understand.
Yeah.
But really the one thing that made me straighten up, because I saw how the system worked. Once you locked up, they don't care about nothing going on the outside.
Nothing.
So I lost the aunt.
Dang.
I lost the best friend.
Dang.
And I'm sitting, behind these walls reading. I lost my best friend. He committed suicide in the jailhouse.
And he was like 13,
he was
14.
16.
Come on.
And, you think they cared enough to release me to go to a funeral?
Not at all.
They don't care about none of that. Nope.
What
just
people
a number.
don't realize, when you locked up behind bars, the world on the outside don't stop spinning.
Right.
There's so much happening that you got no control over.
Wow.
So you really, at least for me, I learned the value of freedom.
Yeah.
So, that's when I got out. That's when I got into school. High school, actually, was my 9th grade year. And I said, let me try something different. Let me put myself around different type of people. So the people I started hanging out with, they was into sports. So, I had never really played sports like that.
Right.
I was on and off on youth football. But, I started playing football. Turns out I was really good at it.
That's awesome.
Track, I was good at it. Wrestling, I was good at it.
Yes.
by me being in there, it kept me out the streets.
Right.
And I think that's one thing that saved me through high school. But even with all that, you still had the temptation of what was, when you left school, going back to your, your neighborhood, the drugs, the crime, and that's where the real struggle came at.
For sure.
You see a lot of kids that's excelling in school. You just don't know what they go home to.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of temptation out there.
Ooh. Yep.
So.
Wow. Now, I know there's something going on July 1st with DeSantis. Before we get into that, how do you feel about DeSantis?
DeSantis,
that's a mayor in Miami.
See, I view him differently.
Oh, the governor?
I view him differently because I'm an elected official, so I have a hard time with him because so when you implement local ordinances or basically local laws, they can't conflict with state law. So you can make any ordinance you want, any law, anything like that, as long as it doesn't conflict with state law. So one thing that I was working on, rent control.
Okay.
We were seeing spikes in rent. It was becoming super expensive. So I was like, I got this great idea. I had mirrored it from another city. I think it was Tampa or Orlando. I was like, we're going to require for landlords to have to give notice to people if they were going to raise the rent up a certain amount.
Definitely.
And that would give people time to at least say, well, maybe I need to work more hours, or maybe I need to start looking for another place. And that would slow the process of people being kicked out on the streets because they can't afford it. So I had this great idea. I crafted the ordinance. We were ready to drop it. Next thing you know, DeSantis and your Congress, and that's why it's important people need to get out and vote, not just for the president, but for your Congress, your representatives. So they dropped a law saying no rent control.
Oh, they knew. The richer will get rich and the poorer get poor. That's their goal.
You had some cities, they were being more aggressive. They were saying like, hey, you can't charge this much for rent. But, I was trying to be in a happy medium where, I wanted to be thoughtful of the homeowners as well. So I just wanted to say, hey, let's just have some communication here. If you're going to raise somebody rent a certain amount, you need to at least give them, at least 90 days notice before you do that. But once they dropped that law, they said no rent control of any kind. That ordinance I had worked so hard on, it became dead overnight.
That's crazy.
And that's what they like to call home rule. That's what they call it in the government world, where cities are supposed to be able to govern themselves. But it's like almost every day you hear the state dropping a law. And
that's
we're going through we're going through our books and we got to cross stuff out because now there's new state law. So that's my beef with DeSantis. It irks my nerves. Yeah. And it's not just me. That's probably one of the biggest things that cities all over Florida, they hate. Every time somebody comes up with a local ordinance, it's getting crossed out because of state law. So just a lot of the...
It's like they said it's America's freedom. It's like it's slowly not become freedom. We're all becoming slaves.
It's like gaslighting. They say, hey, we're representing freedom. Freedom this, freedom that, and then next thing you know, they're infringing on somebody's freedom.
Literally.
So it's aggravating. One of the biggest gripes I got now is with the new gun law that just got passed.
July 1st, right?
Yes.
That's the whole.
So, and this is my issue for it. I'm a Second Amendment supporter.
Okay.
I'm a concealed carry. I have a concealed carry permit. I have firearms, legally owned firearms.
Right.
And my thing is, when I got my concealed carry permit, you had to go through a class, and it educates you. Hey, this is what self-defense really is, and this is what self-defense is not.
Right.
So I had that education part, there. So now they're saying anybody can just
that's ridiculous.
Naturally carry a firearm. Of course they have, certain provisions. You got to be 21.
Yeah, okay, like that's gonna make a difference.
Literally.
What if, you have this kid, just go buy a firearm, and he felt like he had this false presumption of what self-defense is, and goes and shoot and kill somebody.
Literally.
And then now he's in the court system. He finds out that wasn't self-defense, but now it's after the fact.
Right.
That he took somebody's life.
You can't get that life back, So that's one of my issues with it. I support the Second Amendment and people's right to bear arms, but
Not
you
like
gotta
that.
you gotta be smart.
Yeah,
And not
you
even
gotta
at
be
that, their
educated.
mindset too. Like, there's a lot of people that got anger
Especially in
issues.
Florida.
Well, that goes back
Like,
to what
and
I
it's
was
too
saying.
hot too.
That goes back to what I was saying with the youth.
Road rage.
We got a lot of youth in the community that's dealing with trauma. You know,
Yes.
Just
me being a substitute, you know, I talk to kids all the time, and almost every kid can tell you they know someone has been a victim of gun violence or some sort of violence,
Wow.
or if not, you know, a close family member. So you got all this trauma, and these kids don't know, they're not going to therapy, and you know,
right,
so
they just dealing with it.
now you add a firearm in the equation with no education behind how to.
I see more school shootings. Unfortunately, I see that.
I see that downtown,
Public
like
shootings.
they just-
Downtown, we just had a
we
shooting.
they
in
had that like a
Melbourne.
couple. I was there.
Oh, it seems like it's a every month occurrence.
It-
like,
Always.
That's
there's
crazy.
shootings we don't even hear about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was like I was there, so I remember I was walking down, and I was calling my homeboy. I was like, "Yo, where you at? I'm gonna go to the car. We're gonna leave and go somewhere else." Cause I don't know. My spirit was like, "Hey, thank you, God." That was definitely God telling me, "They don't go that way." I'm just like, okay, so I'm walking. All I hear is pow, 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 pow. I'm like, what the hell is? I said, oh, I took off, and then I see woman going out the car. Like, what is that noise? I said, y'all get in your car. Like, I was while I was running, I was
Seriously.
telling everybody get your car and leave. Because then all of a sudden, when I went into this back area wall, I remember it was like a brick wall. I hear like car, like you hear the tires squeaking and all that, because we were speeding through and shooting all the way down from trying to get the people, and it was just like ridiculous. And then a couple months before that, it was supposed to be a great event. It was at the beach, and people got shot there too. It was just
I didn't know that.
yeah.
What's the name's thing, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that happened there.
Yeah, it was like what I think after I left, it was like 2 hours later. That's when they left. You know who I'm talking about,
Right.
And they said like it was like maybe 15 to 20 minutes later. That's when it happened. Like it was ridiculous.
People don't know how to have fun.
Normal. That's not normal to just want to shoot into a crowd of people
So-
and not care who you hit. That's
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Like now they're gonna do this gun law. Yeah, that's smart of y'all. So like, like now we just gonna be like partying like we lost our mind. Like that's ridiculous,
Yeah.
yo. I grew up. I'm a military brat myself. So what my dad had taught me is like don't point a gun. Even when I play play guns, my dad did not like them. My mom just got us just to play. But one time I remember it was a BB gun, but it was not loaded. I pointed out my brother. I'm gonna tell you, my butt was hurting that day because my dad tore that butt up.
You gonna learn today.
And he's like, remember what I told you?
right.
Because what if it was real?
right.
And I felt so bad. I cried and I gave my brother a hug and I said, I'm sorry. And that's what the issue a lot of people don't understand. They got people that got issues with mental issues, anger problems.
Yes.
It's constantly keep like I don't even know how to
It's like
explain
throwing-
it.
Yeah.
throwing fuel on a fire. Yeah.
And it's just like the devil's doing his work. For
Literally.
real. Like this is ridiculous. And
And-
we already got the people that are true that's trying to show the light. Like, hey, yo, let's do it this way for our protection. But then you have the devil like, nah, pss, 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 like telling people in the ear and listen to that like, oh, let's do that, and don't even care about the
Yeah.
consequences.
Yeah.
It's just all over again.
It's crazy, you know, especially when you know, like I say, in my profession, I'm a firefighter, first responder. So
Thank you, by the way.
naturally-
Yeah, thank you for your services.
Thank you, no problem. So naturally, I respond to scenes. I've responded to scenes, gun violence, and the thing that triggers me is the victims get younger.
Younger. Mm-hmm.
And, you know, thank God I haven't, you know, I dealt with a child before of an accidental shooting. Thank God he lived, but
Same here.
I thank God I haven't rolled up on the scene where it was tragic. And but it's just crazy to see that the victims keep getting younger and younger. So, you know, for anybody listening out there, if you are a person that like to carry your firearms or keep them in the house, which is no problem, talk to your kids about gun safety.
Please
be safe
do.
with your firearms. Put them up, lock them up, keep them out your kids' reach, and keep them from getting out into the public into the wrong hands. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so
Wow. So yeah, back to the devil is working. I truly feel that once they've started doing this whole TikTok, this fast social media stuff for kids, where you're just seeing so much, and everybody
Yeah.
wants to be seen. All the kids want to show off. They want to do this and that.
Oh, yeah, the
What do we
social
do?
media.
What do we do?
Social media is something else. You know, social media could be a real helpful tool. Like,
Yeah.
it could be great for a
Yeah.
person. It can also be very bad.
For sure. Especially if you don't have control
Yeah.
mentally, spiritually, social media is not for you.
And I hate to be one of those persons. I don't want to sound like a grandpa. I'm a young guy.
No, but
I see a lot of people, and you raise your kids how you want, but a lot of
Right.
people just let their kids, roam social media without.
Oh my God.
the brain
And
is
they
not.
think it's like even with TikTok.
I've been
A
told
lot
about
of people
this.
think it's just dance moves, but social media can expose kids to a lot of stuff, and that they're not really ready to understand.
Not at all.
And I mean, you see the challenges.
Yo.
I can't even keep up with how many deaths that came about from
Disgusting.
TikTok challenges.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I tell my daughter all the time she's not allowed to use TikTok yet, but she's on YouTube, and I make sure
Even YouTube,
she
man.
has fun on there, and I keep out what she's looking at, but I tell her
Right.
too, look at some stuff educational. You
Yes.
say you want to be a judge, look it up. She asked me about something, I say look it up. Use it wisely,
just
because like I
probably-
said, it could be a helpful tool
Right.
and it could be a bad tool. So I keep that happy balance there, that she's going to use it for education
Right.
as well, and understand the true use of social media.
So, what age is okay for you feel is okay for TikTok users?
I think it's different because different kids mature differently.
Sure, absolutely.
I know some kids that's really, really mature. I know some kids, that's already got like their own podcast and making money as a creator.
Right.
So I think it's all on how mature your kids is. But
Totally.
I gotta say, make sure your kids understand social media, the
Yeah.
dangers of it, and monitor it.
For sure.
So.
Wow.
I mean, I was about to say they actually have an app. I forgot the name of it. I can't even think of it right now because it was a parent that told me about that. He can go on her daughter's phone and it hooked onto his phone, and he can
I can't
see
think of the name of it.
everything
That's good.
on there. So, but she's actually a genius. When he told me, like, she's mad a genius. I forgot how. I think she was like a 4.5 in
Right.
certain things, and then she was higher than that. I was like, ooh, and she was only 12.
Wow.
So, and she was trying to hack it.
Yeah.
And she almost did until her dad was like, hey, what you doing? She's like, oh, nothing. Like, she was trying to do it. But, yeah, it would make sure that you monitor it. Monitor everything that they doing. So I think that was a good idea. Whoever invented
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
I'm giving that
I know
applause.
exactly what you're talking about. I can't think of the name of it, but
It's
yeah,
needed.
like I say, social media and just technology itself, it could, man, kids could really start a career with it.
Yeah.
You
With how
got-
fast it's growing too.
Yeah, you got kids learning how to computer program,
Code.
build games, code, and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So it could be really helpful. I think that all, even with education, that all goes back on the parents. Like, make sure your kids is utilizing their time wisely. You
Yeah,
know.
for sure.
You ain't got to be a party pooper. You can let them have their fun, but keep that happy balance there. So.
So, question. Let us know, why is it so important to vote?
So it's very important to vote because, for one, you need to let your voice be heard. More importantly, when it comes to local politics, that's the thing that we're going to feel the most. That's what's going to impact our life.
Yeah.
Yes, it matters who we have in the White House, but they pass, on a federal level, they pass bills every day that we never even, it doesn't impact us at all.
Right.
But anything on a local level, it's going to impact you. It's like you was talking about rent control, as far as who your next judge is. And people say, oh, your vote don't matter. And that's the stupidest thing I ever heard.
Right.
Because if your vote didn't matter, why do you think, there's people out there that's trying to stop you from being able to vote?
Literally.
Or the other party is out there, your opposition is out there standing in line, making sure that they get their vote in. So your vote does matter, all the way from your school board. 'Cause like I said, we all show up we all show up for the presidential election, and then we forget there's another election 2 years later.
Right.
And most of the times, that's your governor, that's your representatives, your senators, your school board representatives. That's going to determine what type of education and resources your kids are getting in the public school system. Your judges, it just your county commissioners, which this all controls everything from your fire department, your sheriff department. It's so much behind local politics that you really you need to make sure you go out to vote, especially for your local elections. Your streets, you might wonder, hey, why my neighborhood has all these streets with potholes and stuff like that. Well, you get a good representative in the seat that actually want to represent your best interests in your neighborhood. And most of the time, if you vote somebody that's from that neighborhood, that actually been there, seen the neglect there, you're gonna get better results. So,
True.
It's important, very.
So, Democrat or Republican? You're a Democrat?
I'm a Democrat.
Okay. How do you feel about Joe Biden?
Joe Biden, I think Joe Biden, he did a decent job. I feel like he could have been more aggressive. And I think sometimes...
What do you think preventing him from being that? His age or his mental capacity?
I think it's just being... See, one thing I'm not fond of is career politicians.
Okay, what do you mean?
People that's been in politics for
decades.
40 years.
Yeah.
Like even with me being a council member, I'm not. I tell people all the time, I'm not trying to be a council member for the next 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
I want to come in, implement change, positive change, and pass the baton on to the next person.
Nice.
And it just something rubbed me wrong when people try to hold on to power for 30 years, and I think you become out of touch.
Yeah, I think at that time it becomes more of a money scheme.
Yeah.
Like it's a career literally. So you're working. You're not trying to be connected to the people.
Right.
You're trying to pay your bills, keep your family happy.
And I think Joe Biden. I'm pretty sure he means well with what he's trying to do. But like I say, when you're in D.C. for decades, you become out of touch with the real issues. It's so many issues that I see locally that aren't being explored. We got people, homeowners insurance is being dropped. So you got insurance companies that are coming in, they're taking all your money, and then they're just saying, okay, we're leaving the state and leaving these people policies being dropped.
Yeah.
It's just so many local issues.
Right. They're too worried about, overseas and foreign affairs or, international. It's just we're in war. We're our money is in like Ukraine, and it's like we have our own war going on here.
So you got, like I said, you have the cost of living that's going up. It's so many issues that can be talked about, and I think a person that was in touch would be expounding on that. But it's not, But overall, I think Joe Biden mean good. I can't really say he had many barriers because at one point we had the House and we had the Senate, so you could have been more aggressive.
Right.
So. When you look back, like someone like President Obama, he didn't have the people thought, oh, he could have did more. He didn't have the Congress or the
he
House
was a
of
puppet. He was a puppet. They were telling him what to do because, like you said, he didn't have.
That's
support.
why I say those elections after the presidency is what really matters because these are the people that the Congress is created for check and balance of the president. So the president can only get so much done with what they allow. Of course, they could be like Trump and just go through and use executive power on everything, but I mean, I don't know if that's the political correct way to do things.
It's more like dictatorship.
Yeah, it's a dictatorship, correct?
Literally.
So,
and I'm okay with that as long as you're okay. If you're not okay, Trump, this is not for you.
So,
but
So I mean, I think some great things have been implemented from Biden. We've got a lot of progress, and we just got to keep building on it. So I don't know. I couldn't tell you who's going to be president in 2024, but hopefully they don't go backwards. We keep moving forward. The economy is starting to improve, and we just need to keep moving forward and actually think about your average people in the community, your workers, your nurses, teachers, and just average Joes. So.
Do you have any advice for business owners that's, trying to make it in, the county, or with
For business owners,
with the economy, how it is and so forth?
I would encourage business owners to dive more into how their local government works, because there's so many grants and opportunities out there that a lot of businesses aren't really taking advantage of.
How
I don't
would
know
they?
if it's a lack that they don't know about.
I wouldn't know. So
Yeah.
how would you go about that?
I would say, I want to say reach out, but I think it should be the opposite. I think your government should be reaching out to you, because you're providing a service to your local government. You provide a tax base.
Yeah, but let's be realistic. They're not, because that's more money they save.
I was about to say, yeah.
Correct.
So how, for instance, how would I?
But actually, it's like a catch. It works. It benefits both people.
Yeah, because they would
both
make
ways.
more money with us making money.
Correct. So I think having that relationship, something I'm involved with is, my good friend of mine is Vicky Missioner. She just started the Space Coast Black Chambers of Commerce.
Oh, I don't think that's her. But I'm supposed to have an interview with one of the representatives there. One of the females.
She has a staff, but they've been really good at trying to bridge that gap. And
her name is Vicky.
Victoria Missioner.
I think it is Victoria. Yeah, I'm supposed to meet with her. It's been like 2 months.
She's really, really great. She's really been like all up and down the Space Coast.
I like that.
She's been trying to connect local business, small businesses with any type of funding out there.
What?
Mending that relationship with officials.
We need that. So, we need that.
We got I'm a board member actually on that.
What? On the Space Coast?
Black Chambers of Commerce.
When is the next,
So
when
we
are
have
the
a
meetings?
gala coming up, and that's going to be in August.
Whoa.
We're going to see small business owners.
I want to be there.
Public figures. I make sure I get that
Please
information
do.
to you.
So you guys have monthly meetings or weekly? How does that work?
They have different events on a monthly basis,
but beside events, how do you have board meetings for the
we have
public?
board meetings. Our board meetings are for members, which
members
any
only.
small business can become a member of it, and you could join in on the board meetings.
Regardless if you're not in Cocoa, you could be in Brevard.
Correct.
Okay.
This is a Space Coast thing, so that's
I like
up
that.
and down, and like I said, it really connects your small business people to any resources. It actually gets you to know the other figures in the community that can be beneficial to your business, and it's
That's
just
awesome.
and it provides some representation, because she represents especially minority businesses to bigger boards like your chambers of commerce.
Yes.
So
that's amazing.
So
definitely,
I'll make sure I get those resources
Please
to
do.
you.
Yes,
it's great. So
definitely
love it.
Like I said, it's beneficial to both people, the business owner and the government.
For sure,
it's gonna bring people to your municipality, and you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
collect taxes. So, yeah.
Any advice for teachers in the county?
Teachers. Well, I feel for my teachers right now.
Yeah, for real, because they're not even getting paid enough, right?
I feel for my teachers. Not only are they not getting paid enough, they are continuing to be asked to do more. Teachers are more than just educators now. They're mentors, they're parents, they're therapists.
Dang.
And, it's really hard because teachers and education as a whole is being thrown into politics right now. It's being made real political, and a lot of that stuff the teachers have no say-so over it. They're just stuck there.
Yeah.
And,
I don't think that's fair for teachers to do, literally work that hard, and they're not getting the money that they need in their pocket, because we're all surviving, but I always seen them always get left out of almost anything. And I had loved teachers. I had great teachers.
Same here.
So
they do a tremendous job, and it's just like the ones that are still holding on, I don't know how they're doing it, but I applaud them, and I'm praying that we could put politics aside and start thinking of the students and the teachers, and keep all this culture war thing out, social wars and all this, keep it out of the school system and just keep it about education. Because like I say, the teachers, they're stuck in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So
this was a great episode.
Oh yeah.
Yes, it was.
Definitely. We gotta have you back on for sure.
Definitely, anytime.
Yeah. Do you have any questions you want to ask before we close it out?
I was about to say, when you say culture, anybody that has different cultures, I think is beautiful. Nobody has to always be against something, even though if a person's different, just accept who that person is, because we all come in different backgrounds.
Inclusiveness.
So, you know what I'm saying? And either way, we're all human. We technically are one, even though we don't want to admit that.
Right.
We bleed the same and everything. They say,
Literally.
oh, we've been hearing that for years. There's a reason why they say that. Because literally, if you took our skins inside out, we all red. You can't even tell the color. You just known that you was just red. So that's it.
What we need to do is come together as a planet and worry about who was out there trying to, you know, search us, do research on us,
right?
Because I do see. Okay, I don't want to get into the whole.
I'm
about to get into that. That's another episode. We're not gonna do some Joe Rogan stuff. Start talking about UFOs.
Oh, I could go on and on.
I love that. Don't get me started. But yeah, you know, I just, you know, I do feel that as much as mothers are needed, fathers are just as needed for both daughters and sons.
Definitely.
So it's really about the household at the end of the day.
Household always do. The devil always going to attack the household before it attacks out on the world. And a lot of people think it's not. They always attack the head. Mostly they attack the weakest. Is not weaker, just saying. They just say that because the man is the leader. Then you have the helpers, the woman.
Right.
So they're always going to attack the woman first. And that's the man's weakness, because that's his woman that they made children from. So when they do that, then the children fall apart, then the father falls apart. And they doing all that constantly over and over again. So it's just like, I can't stand it, because I only know like maybe like 2 or 3 people that they still have their parents still married. And it's like so sad and depressing, because we all could be, I know a lot of people can't get along with each other, but the only thing is, like, when you love each other, you always got to communicate and work that out. It's not just because you had kids or anything, because, oh, we staying here for the kids. No, it has nothing to do that. You guys came as one person and you made that. So you have to love that person and yourself, because sooner or later you're going to take it out on your children, and that they're going to be affected. They're always going to be affected.
You get so many important things, kind of like vitamins from a strong family structure, you know, a sense of security, you know, just so much comes out of it that you should have as a human being from a strong family foundation.
Absolutely.
So.
Wow. So if people wanted to contact you, you know, for your services or just to get advice or to have you on their show, how can they reach you?
You can reach me by email at lhearn at cocofl.gov, or you can call my cell at 321-474-1189. That's on 24 hours.
Wow.
So
that's awesome. Do you have social media like Instagram?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook as well. Lavander Hearn. You can find me on there. And
you don't have Instagram?
I'm not on Instagram.
Okay.
I'm on Facebook, and we have our city council meetings are every second and fourth Tuesdays of the month at 6 p.m.
Nice.
At our city hall, so you can come down there anytime.
Like
it's actually entertaining. We see how city government works, so I invite people to come out there. Sometimes it get rowdy.
I like that.
It can get crazy.
Passion.
Sometimes, yeah.
It's passionate. That's all.
So
I love that.
Yeah, when I invite people to come and they say, "Wow, man, that was a show."
So when is the best time to go, roughly?
I think anytime.
I'm trying to go in when it's juicy.
Yeah, I think anytime. You
That's
know,
awesome.
Does
it get a little crazy during you know, when it comes to like what is it called?
I think budget time gets
budget time
because everybody wants a piece of the pie.
When is it? Towards the end of the year?
No, that's actually coming up. So in the next July.
Okay.
Everything's in July.
So,
jeez,
my birthday is July.
Wow.
It's the heart of the summer, so it get hot.
Yes.
But yeah, I try to encourage people to come out, and you know, I do a lot of community events as well. I do community trash pickups.
Nice.
If you follow me on Facebook, you'll see. Come out and join me.
Yeah,
and, it's fun.
Absolutely. So, do you have any last words you'd like to give for the people?
I just like to say it's easy to talk about a community, but I think anyone that has something negative to say about any community should ask yourself, what have you done to try to help out in that community.
Preach.
That part. That's what's up.
I like that.
So, yeah, definitely.
I like that. Well, I thank you so much for being here on Amped Up Live. We appreciate you forever. This is home base. You can always come here if you want to just vent, get a message
talk about
out.
That space stuff one day.
Yeah, whoa. You already know. I love that type of talk. For real. So, I love that.
We can have a sci-fi episode.
Yes. I love sci-fi.
Oh, we should get like little aliens.
Yeah. We'll have like green screen. Like we're in space.
We're right here on the Space Coast.
Yeah.
No better place.
No other place to do it because, there's a little bit of a controversy with NASA if they really landed on the moon. But we're not going to talk about that. But yeah, thank you once again for being here. And you guys, thank you for tuning in. Comment, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Show love and support the Deputy Mayor here.
Yes.
Mr. Hearn.
Let's go.
And yeah, thank you guys once again. And thank you.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
Yay, later.
Bye.
Nice.